so we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:03. Roll call, looks like all members minus Mr. Fong is present.
Mr. Major is not present.
Mr. Major, okay. Mr. Major and Mr. Fong are absent. All right, and we're gonna go straight into the agenda. This is the Education and Employment Challenge Committee meeting. We're gonna talk about the initiatives. We have 4 items on the agenda: the Troy Historic Tours, Diversity Inclusion Training, Education Books, and Troy City School Government.
Student government.
Student government, yes. Okay. So for the historic tours, I know Mr. Feltner and Ms. Phillips were working on that for historic tours.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, we're working on a list of books and the tours.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are still currently meeting on that. The book list, I have about 3 pages of books. I've got tons of book recommendations. I also have Mrs. Phillips has tons of books as well.
Yeah.
So we have a very long list that's growing. And then I've also been in contact with the Dayton.
Oh, Mr. Major's joining.
With the Dayton Public Library and the Troy Public Library, and I said that we would share information. They have the Dayton Public Library has a diversity committee, and providing that list for them to have, it's not just books on diversity, but authors that are diverse and also characters that are diverse. At least for me growing up, I think most of my books that I read, especially when I was a kid with picture books, the kids were white. So it's not about, trying to point out, this and this issue, but really just like normalize things, it's normal for Black kids to go play in the park or whatever and have a book about it. You know what I mean? It just needs to be normalized. It doesn't have to just be about diversity.
So do we have a date of when we're actually projecting to provide that list? And who are we providing that list to again?
This will be for both Troy Christian and Troy City Schools, and now both the Miami County and Montgomery County libraries, public libraries. Well, I'll share the list with them as well.
Did you get a response to the Facebook post? I saw you posted it on Facebook.
Yes, I got some responses on there as well. So I'm trying to make it a community effort of sharing books and authors.
Did you say Marvin joined us? Sure.
Yeah.
Hey. Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late.
Did we ever get a date set to go talk to Patrick Kennedy and those other people? I know we were floating time around, but I never saw if it was ever set. Do you know?
Yes, we set the date for tomorrow at 6 p.m.
March 6th. Okay.
Good thing you checked. We're gonna be at Partners in Hope.
And I also sent out an email that has a link for the web conference if you can't make it in person. Sonia offered to have us in her office at Partners in Hope.
What is this meeting for?
It's actually for history, but because
Oh.
there's history on both committees, it's probably a way we can address.
Oh, this is that historic tour.
Well, historic tour, but the community have like preservation and markers, and so we have history in 2
Okay.
places at this point.
Sorry, I jumped the gun.
No, you're
There's
good.
too many histories.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And at least this way we can narrow them all down and not have to be redundant. I'm noticing under educational books, because the conversation was started, that we are to draft a letter.
Yes.
You and I.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Sorry.
that's okay.
So
I thought about that after when I was typing up notes. I was like, we are so slacking on that.
So I can email you the list of books from Mrs. Phillips and I by next week. You think?
Yeah, I've got a bunch.
Yeah. So we're working on that tomorrow. But yeah, we can get you that list. Let's
start
just say a
and send
date
it.
so that
Yeah.
it makes it feel. Let's say
Usually you put a date to something you accomplish it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We've done quite a bit of work on it.
How does March 29th, Monday of next week. Do you think that's doable, Ms. Phillips?
Yeah.
Okay. So March 29th, and we'll get it to you by 4 p.m.
And I will in turn have a draft and send it to you, and you can do your thing to it as well. I've not hurt my feelings one bit.
No private ownership, is that what you're saying?
Not at all. I am the grammar. I need grammar police
Okay.
frequently.
And then, so we should plan on getting it out from the HRC to these schools. What do you want to say? Marvin, do we want to run this letter from the education committee through the HRC committee before we
Yeah.
send it out?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we should.
When is our next meeting for the HRC?
April 15th,
15th.
but that's
April
before police station.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to
For the police
send out
station
the?
briefing? But it could be a quick, like, this letter is approved to send out. Kind of like, you know how the commission, how the.
Yeah, we
council-
can do that. We can,
Yeah.
we'll have to conduct some business even though
Yeah.
we tour. So I think that's an appropriate time to just
Yeah, I
look
was
at the
gonna
list.
say, I mean, we can't send it out without the commission.
Approving it.
entire
Correct.
commission
Yeah.
reading all of it, so, okay.
Because again, that's gotta be like a recommendation. I mean, you gotta balance that advocacy deal. So what we're gonna do is write a letter. Here's the recommended books that we want to include.
Yeah.
Right, that's the concept. Yeah, I think that's
So
good.
we're gonna present to the HRC on 15 April. Okay.
And then as for the tour, I believe that maybe by April 15th, we could get landmarkers, at least landmarkers of significant, with local diversity or anything like that for tours by April 15th.
You are
A
ambitious.
list.
Sorry to interrupt, I know you keep saying April 15th, but remember that I have to send out agenda and packet the week before, so you'll be submitting that before April 8th to me, because I have to include all that in your HRC packet, so.
So you're talking about a list for the tour? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, just what would be on the tour. It would just be a
Gotcha.
rough draft.
Okay, I thought you
It would
meant
be-
actual landmarks. It's like, whoa.
So a letter and the list,
By
I need to have
April.
those, yes, before April 8th, yes.
Got a little note, 2 file made by 8 April.
Actually, plan on submitting by the end of April 7th, because I have to post the agenda on 8th.
Okay.
Thank you.
7 April. Okay. You gonna back it out another day?
April 6th, because she's gonna type it on April 7th. She's gonna send it on April.
We might be next Friday.
We're gonna keep you good and busy.
Right. So with the landmarkers though, is that something that's gonna come out of your meeting with,
With the historic people tomorrow. It can. I mean, I think we've done like the back research, and then in combination with their expertise, what we might want to blend, and again with Ms. Phillips as well, if we've missed something within the history. So I think we can get all the history pieces somewhat addressed.
Right.
Are you talking about buildings or markers for like Slab Hollywood, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So
It can be
there are
both.
two conversations. This
Okay.
team is doing the tour. So
Okay.
where are the landmarks? And then that kind of does complement where do the markers go, right?
Right.
So it's
exactly.
almost like
It's
we're doing that in conjunction so we could have that same
the
conversation.
jigsaw puzzle that'll hopefully.
Okay. Put
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Okay.
The only one we don't have there is Judy Dieter, which we should eventually, because she is the expert of Nineveh, at least the one that we have here, and she's done reports on that.
all right, how's this, Marvin?
Better. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. So, the next item on here, we talked about the landmarks, we talked about, okay, diversity and inclusion training. Oh. I didn't, I just,
It's okay.
I know, right? Forgive me, I did not follow my, what I was supposed to do, sending off emails to, I think it was Winsome Campbell.
Yeah, Dr. Winston. And I would say the sooner the better with her because she's done a documentary now and she's also done a diversity training with the SNL stars. So she's starting to become a lot more popular than, which is really awesome. But then when I last brought her up, but I will text her because we're like this.
Okay,
So
so when do you guys, since it's the 6 of us here, when do you want, when would you like to do the training?
Whenever she can do it.
are we gonna do it the as the main meeting? Is that
No,
what
this is something, like, we're gonna, it's not gonna be
Offsite.
considered a meeting, this is just
a training?
a training for us. So do we wanna do it, on a weekend? Cause do you really wanna plan something on another work day?
I think, I don't want to step on toes, but it sounds like we got to determine who the speaker is going to be. B, if she's at that level, I mean, I
When
appreciate your
can she
time.
do it?
Is she gonna do it? Is she gonna charge us? And you know, look, I'm all for it. I'm not trying to be here and be the timeout guy, but I don't know that. I appreciate that we should follow a schedule and an agenda, but I think next month, we should say, okay, this is who's there, because, you know, if you have some contacts and she's willing to come do it and she's willing to do it, you know, at minimal or no charge, or Troy Foundation will pay or somebody will pay. But if you're gonna have someone at that level, maybe it's better to do it more than just the 7 people, 8 people that are left of this committee too.
I think it would be great to contact her and find out when she's available, how much she costs, if she costs it off. And do you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Or would you like me
And
to do that?
availability,
Since-
Right.
because maybe we might have to, if we can get her, you know.
Well, it's not like
nothing
the- what Sonia put on the bridge. I mean, when we first started this, remember we went to that thing at Brun's place, the Bridges Out of Poverty or whatever.
The
What was that?
tactical communication.
What was it?
the
Tactical
city?
communication.
Communication.
And if we can get something like that, where it's, you know, if you're gonna have someone at that level, no offense to this group, but it might be better than, you know, have 10 people or however many people we would have there.
I would think that we could also offer it up to other, applicants.
Nice if the city would come.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I was gonna say other individuals who may be members of the city that would like to sit in on it.
Or
But
teachers.
Yeah, that's what we did with tactical. I mean,
Yeah.
we had
Include 'em.
85 people and it was front end staff of the city.
Right.
And the first
So
responders.
I
we
think
can
that's
offer it to them and then they would just say whether or not they'll take it. But since you have her contact and you do have a personal relationship with her, I hate to throw this back at you. Hard to laugh at me. Stop sniggering, Marvin.
And she might have a cost, Kane, and you know, if she does, I don't want to lose that contact. We
Right,
just need
right.
to then figure out how can we
Exactly.
generate the funds. You know, do we charge people $10? Do we, you know, if you're going to have someone who's done this at SNL, they're pretty well known and will be very well received. You know, and maybe, you know, anyways, but I think that's where we need to start before we start to schedule the date of the training. Is let's see if Ms. Campbell can do it.
Hello, can you hear me?
That's so much better. Thank you.
Do I have to talk about this volume all night?
Yeah.
What about Mrs. Smith? Is that somebody that we want to come to?
Miss Smith,
Yeah.
the University of Dayton.
Dayton lady.
Yeah, so.
I mean, that would be fine, maybe on a different date. I don't know if I would have them share a day.
I don't,
Yeah.
they probably would be doing about the same thing.
That's what I was
So
gonna say, would it be
Well,
redundant?
What, do you know what, Dr. Winsome is more on microaggressions, so that can
That's
stem.
pretty much like what she's,
okay.
yeah. So let's just stick with her and see what we can come up with that. Plus, they're like really, she's like really booked. Cause remember, that was like 3 months ago when I talked to her. So she's really booked. until
So-
later. I mean, like, we're talking August, September. So
Oh,
check, so if this falls through, we can always
I
fall
do
back
know,
on that unless we have somebody else we can.
I have colleagues that teach bias training. If that's something that's helpful, I don't know. That would be my only. without
Dr.
Googling.
Wentz, her seminars, I guess you could call them, are probably about an hour long, so it would take up a whole, yeah.
It sounds like she would cost.
Well, I'll talk to her and see, but I mean, when I worked with her, I was also head of an organization through Ohio University, so she probably didn't charge because of that. But I will talk to her, you know,
Okay.
and see what,
I'd like to have something.
See what I
And then
can-
we'll know
like a
what we're working
certificate. You know what I mean? Like
No, I think
professional
that sounds really
development.
good. And,
Yeah.
You know, you just
I
gotta
mean,
find
I
out
think
what.
it would be great
She is
because
worth
we
it.
as a commission, we haven't done that. I
Yeah.
mean, we've been commissioned since June, July of last year. And if you really think about it, we should have had that in the
In the
beginning.
beginning.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It should be almost an onboarding
Automatic, yeah.
onboarding
Mhm.
process
Yep.
for commissioners as they come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially with the topics that we deal with or whatever. So
Definitely.
anyway, thank you.
When would you like that by?
I like that you're asking me those type of questions. That
So
is-
I can put it on my calendar because look,
His calendar.
if I have the room to be sloppy, I will be sloppy.
Don't
So
admit
if I
that.
structure
As
my
soon as
stuff, I
possible.
will get it to you.
As soon as possible, and then we can work from there, right?
Yes, so can we work towards that by the 7th as well? That way we'll have something in our packets.
On the agenda, yeah.
Thank you. We talked about the educational books. The next item of discussion is the Troy City Schools student government. I think at one time we were talking about having the student government to come in to this committee and to have a conversation with the student government president.
Yep.
I think just in my opinion, I think it would be really great. A couple of things is I think it would be great when we bring them in is we brainstorm as a commission and as a student government or a committee, I guess we could say, on an initiative or an action where we can be out in the community so that they can both see the student government and us within the community, whatever that looks like. I don't know what that would look like, but I think that would be great, you know, that we're actually seen out in the community doing things.
Mhm.
No, I didn't get to the part in the minutes to say who volunteered to contact the student government. I obviously don't have any contact. at
We
the
have
student-
contacted them actually, and I'm waiting on, my contact is Meredith Paris, and she was going back to whoever was over her to talk about what they actually could realistically partner and do and support. I did not ask the question though of inviting to the HRC because that's Salome's thing. so I didn't do that, but I did. I did kind of
Okay, you
ask.
can
Well,
do it.
again, I wanted first to make sure and to allow you to be able to do that, but that's
It would be,
We
I
haven't had a
thought they were
response
coming
back.
here to the committee and not to the actual HRC as a whole.
well. I mean, I just simply asked because from my other teams, there was a plethora of things, and she just simply said, "All of this is amazing. We want to support in all these ways, but I have to talk to see." And I just haven't heard anything back. Kane reached out as well. I introduced Kane to her for some Troy Freedom Chaser support for community conversations, and we haven't heard back. So perhaps you might have a different contact, maybe to at least invite them. If not, then I'll invite them. I'll invite them tonight, actually, when I get home. See what happens. Do you want me to CC you on it?
Yes, but if she said that she'll get back to you, maybe you should wait for.
Well, it's been
been
over a month. It's been
Yeah.
ample time, so
I feel like it's fair.
David may be able to help with that too.
that's what I was thinking. Because at one point we did task David to
Yeah.
reach out about how that bridge to the school.
If you follow them on Facebook, they really have done some pretty neat inclusive
Yeah.
stuff. They put up pictures all around the school for Black History Month and
And they put those.
put the
signs
banners
on
up
the
for Black
banners.
Lives Matter.
Yeah,
really
so it
cool.
might just be that they're busy doing the things that.
But
they
I
need to
know from what I've heard is a lot of those kids want to do, there's more they want to do. And I think that we could,
do. Yeah,
Partner
Yeah,
with them.
Mhm.
for sure.
I think that's good.
Maybe we can invite them to the cookout.
and I know there's,
Cookout.
I'm excited. We're not there
Juneteenth.
yet. Sorry,
Yeah.
Juneteenth.
Oh, I'm not in that committee.
You're welcome to
Aw,
join.
You can join.
no, she got to go home at 7, remember?
She's still gonna be working at that
Let's go.
cookout though.
She gotta go home at 7.
No,
I'm
it's
kidding.
okay.
I'm kidding. I'm teasing.
Let's see, I'm sure there are plenty more topics, that I did not get to. I don't have anything else for the education. Are there any other open topics
I don't-
from your previous notes?
I don't think so.
What?
I know, right? Jelly,
That's good.
I challenge you. Here we go.
But we're missing someone for the other committee, right?
Mr. Keller is not here.
Oh, so we don't have enough? Oh, well, no, we still have enough.
No, you do have enough.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Question, what about, Ruby? Did she get sworn in at the last meeting?
She did. I don't.
She was born there.
She attended a last HRC meeting.
Mhm.
Will she be attending one of these committee meetings?
Yeah, I think she'll probably be at the April 15th one.
She means committees.
Right. Oh, wait.
We've told her,
We
yeah.
told her she can choose. But I have not heard back from her yet.
Okay.
You think we should look at combining them at some point in
Yes.
I
time?
feel like we decided
Yes.
that at the
Yeah,
last
we did.
meeting. So the
Well, we
next
said we were
meeting-
gonna have them at the same time, but I mean, I guess,
I think we should
You have
combine.
not
There's
decided
not-
to combine.
We have
Last
not
meeting
deci-
was set to have
Right.
one at 6 and the other at 7.
We might as
Oh,
well
I'm sorry.
combine
I
all
thought
of
we
them.
were, yeah,
I thought
because
that's what
if there's
we were
history
saying.
here and there, we might as well just
I know,
combine
there is
them
so
at
many
this
things
point and
that are,
mainstream them.
They cross over.
well, and so many of us are on both that
Oh, yeah.
just,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
would like to
and we
combine
could cover
them.
it in an hour.
Better for
Yeah.
me, I won't be attending.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I really
Hey,
understood
Marvin,
that meeting to be
Yeah.
that last
can
time.
you
yeah.
hear what we're saying?
Yeah, I did, and I'm all in agreement to combine them if that's what we'd like to do.
Awesome.
I just
We
think
can
it
get
would
more
make-
done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
Get more done.
So I'm the only person here from the education that is not on the community, but I agree.
These are open arms. We welcome you.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Come on.
Don't
You
do
could be
that.
the
Don't
secretary for.
encourage her. She's been to Hawaii, no luck.
Yeah, man, the arms are closed and
I
not for the whole
know,
way.
look, let me tell you.
Sorry, hold on.
Uh-huh, right.
Hawaii has a 1% positivity rate. I had the test before going,
Good for you.
and then a test when I got there, so I'm probably the cleanest one in the room.
Right.
Oh no,
Well,
I got my
had
shot.
most of my shots.
She was in
okay.
that
And
pure.
then
I'm a
I came
survivor.
Okay.
And I came back and got
Topic.
shot.
Go, girl.
Next, so are you ready to adjourn your employment and education?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and join me.
All
Well,
right.
we should actually
I
try
know,
to
right, I'll
vote on
second.
this committee, because we'll take a vote on the next committee too.
Right.
Is there any objection to, or I would move that we consolidate the committees to one committee, combining all the initiatives and exploring them on a committee meeting that's joint, that's combined.
my
I
goodness.
second.
We have to have all that.
All approve?
Aye.
I approve.
Yeah.
I
Aye.
So,
so said.
I mean, you do have majority from the.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
He thinks he's on the council.
mhm.
Well, the record has to be clean, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So we vote to do that.
So then we'll just keep rolling with community.
Well, is
Do you
anyone else-
have John's information? Is he the only one missing?
Yeah.
John.
He
Oh,
just
wanna
said he
text
won't be
him?
here at all.
and Fong is out.
What's that?
David.
Yeah, but David's out. Like
He won't be here
he's
today.
not gonna be here tonight at all. He's at a different meeting. But
Mr. Keller said he might join us, but he was not sure.
does anyone have any objection then with going forward with the educational one or the Community Relations Advisory Committee?
No.
I have Mr. Keller's that's here, because if not, y'all gotta wait 30 minutes.
Right.
That's true.
Troy's playing Northmont across the street. But
Softball.
Y'all could take a break. I'm
Dougie's
saying
ice
y'all
cream.
because we are not combined yet.
I'm gonna text him and see if he's
do
coming.
you have his?
Yeah.
his contact information?
Well, I think most of the community committees.
I've worked with John today on something, so I could probably cover the topic if he doesn't come.
Yeah,
Yeah, 4 to
yeah,
5.
because what you guys need to report on is the letter that you drafted.
Yep.
Okay,
And I
but
can,
I'll still text him to see.
Well,
Okay.
he told me he'll try to catch part of the meeting through Zoom.
Okay, well, I think that's,
Is that okay?
Well, I mean,
John's a
you guys
pretty-
have quorum with the other committee. You got 4 of the 5. So.
yeah. Who's chairman of community relations, Sonia?
Yeah.
Take it away.
Okay, well, I was texting him, sorry.
He's
I'm-
pretty laid back. I don't see John getting overly upset about it.
So I know you gave us an update on law enforcement. Are there any changes in regards to the community outreach with Joel?
not at this moment, but what's planned is we're hopefully trying to get together and make sure that there's I guess a policy put in place so that we can go into schools here within the city, so that we can talk to these students, kind of show them what it's like to interact with the police officer and what the police officer's expectation is, so on and so forth. And that's still on our plate. He had some other thoughts surrounding it. He was looking for some more, I guess, some more freedom to do what he wanted to do. And so I'm waiting to get some more, I guess, some more feedback from his higher ups. And then after that, we can meet and then we can put the process in motion.
Okay, so it looks like is there anything under law enforcement that you do need to update, because our meeting, I feel like, was not that long ago.
Well, he's coming April 15th, right?
Yeah. So I just didn't
Isn't
want to
that
spend
Massarian
time.
is our speaker for the 15th?
No, we're going.
Oh, we're going to the police
We're going to the
station.
police station.
Section.
Yeah.
The thing that I would like us to add regarding law enforcement is, I guess as we all know, we received a note from the doctor's office here in Troy regarding a lady, I guess, that threatened the employee there. And I guess we should try to understand what the ordinance is that the police department is going to use when they contact these people involved in these HRC scenarios. So that's something that I'm working on to make sure that we know as the HRC what the expectation is for the people that contact us when they receive a phone call from law enforcement. So
Okay.
I think that's the only update regarding
Awesome. Thank
that
you.
scenario. You're absolutely welcome.
Does anybody have anything to add to that in regards to the expectations or what he's talking about, or maybe what we think are expectations?
I'll also say this. I had talked to, spoke with Cherie about this, but we have to have a letter that we send out to people on behalf of the HRC when we get these things back. I know that this commission should be run kind of next to the city, outside of the city, but in conjunction with the city. And it shouldn't be Patrick's job to send a communication over. So that's something that we should probably take ownership of. So I'll work with Cherie to draft a letter. I'd be happy to involve anyone else in that process just to make sure that we're sending the right message. I think what Todd had put together, and our poster is a really good start. And I think we can kind of expand on that and just have, I guess, a greeting. I think most people that contact us are in some kind of distress. So they need to look to us to try to help, find out how we can solve that issue. So I think the letter has to address that. It should also address how we can help and what the expected outcome is. So I like to get that completed before April 15th so that we can get some input from law enforcement as well.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to leave people hanging,
Right.
feeling we're not following up, or why would I send an email if I'm not getting some type of support? And it's one thing for like somebody to treat you some kind of way, but for your city or your commission to say, hey, that's not the way we all are. I mean, that's healing. That's the healing we talk.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
I mean, we can't say we're gonna solve it or fix it, but at least acknowledge and say, just kind of like Patrick put it, if we coming from the HRC.
Yeah,
We say we received it, and
I
How
agree.
do we, who speaks on behalf of planning commission? Because we're probably most analogous to planning.
Hey, Todd, I'm sorry, sir. I can't hear you so well. Can you come a little closer to your microphone, please?
I was asking Salome who speaks on behalf of planning commission. Because we would probably both be most analogous to like the planning commission on who responds. So if somebody says, I want to, redevelop these 10 acres and this is what I want to do, does that communication come from planning or does that come from Patrick? Or who responds to that request? Tim Davis? Do you know, Salome?
I think it goes to development department and to rezoning or other things.
So that would be comparable with us.
Also, Miss Knight receives letters when someone wants to send a letter to planning commission.
I'm sorry, Salome, I can't hear you either.
where's your head?
She said Miss Knight or the
Yeah.
planning
Look,
development.
Yes, it's a good idea. I don't want to overthink it today. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head how to implement that. But yes, it should not be just a quick email back. I think we could do
Like a
better
little
than
letter
that. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
acknowledge.
Yeah, no,
I don't think Patrick did anything wrong, but I said as far
Right.
as like a HRC, we
Yeah.
can send them letters.
When I read that, I was reminded that we have a sister city
Oh, yeah.
in an Asian, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like a no-brainer that our city would definitely not condone that. Our sister city is
Takahashi.
Takahashi. So again, like it was kind of a no-brainer to me that we should follow up and say, hey, you count, you're a Trojan. The theme of our schools is family. So this is one big family. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. So we're gonna go on then. Has anybody got anything else under law
Well,
enforcement?
yeah, hold on. So is there anyone that would like to help with the process of writing that letter?
Oh, you put Sheree.
Marvin, do you want to do it? Oh, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
we can, you and maybe Stu can sit down or Patrick or somebody and see what the best way to grant. Yeah, we can, I'll help you do that.
Okay,
Let's
thank-
schedule a time. Reach out to me privately and we'll schedule a time. I actually will have some time next week and the end of this week. I don't know what your schedule's like, but
I will make time.
I just had 2 trials go out, so I'm kind of open Friday and the first of next week.
That sounds good.
I'm not lawyer, and I'm wrong what I'm going to say, but I think I should share
Yeah.
at least my opinion. I think it is nice gesture to send a letter, but also before kind of investigating, knowing what really happened, like it's taking one side might not be a good idea. So I don't know what type of letter you're.
But the letter wouldn't be taken aside.
No.
Okay, so we'll be just acknowledging that
Just
you received.
acknowledge
Thank you
the
for
receipt.
your comments
Yeah,
and
no,
we'll be
it's not
explored.
taken
And
aside.
that we are concerned.
Yeah.
And that
That we
racism is
care.
not okay.
That
I
we
mean, I don't
care.
think it's taking a side by having,
Okay, so it's just a general letter.
Right.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that I was
Yeah.
understanding correctly.
Yeah.
right?
we're-
And they'll make
We're not gonna
sure.
become witnesses in the subsequent civil suit.
No.
Yeah.
Todd's our man to write that letter. That's awesome.
This
That's
is
why
just,
I said I'm not a lawyer. I just
Yeah,
want
no,
to
no, no,
understand
no.
that that's the.
No
Yeah.
judgment.
And I think again, with any like trauma, because that is trauma, it's just
Yeah.
the acknowledgement that that behavior is not a norm.
right.
And
So
that's,
even if we just go back to, like you said, what we have on our bulletin,
yeah.
our handout, this is what the HRC is about,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you know, this is what we stand for. Even if we just go back to those, what we encourage and
Yeah.
you know what was put out on the
Like our
bulletin.
mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it should also, though, give the person some clear guidelines as to what they can expect from law enforcement since they're going to be engaging, because it's a legal matter, right? And I think we should try to make sure that people that are involved in these issues use law enforcement to their advantage so these things stop happening.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
So-
also acknowledge that business is obviously a diverse, friendly business as we talk about employment,
Right.
and that's really cool.
Right. And there are processes. I mean, I don't want to practice law either, but there's even civil processes for, protection orders and things like that, depending on, I'm not saying this particular incident rose to that level, but
Mhm.
there are protections that exist in the statutes. And those would be things that we could talk to Sean or Joel about. The difference. I get this all the time. What's the difference between a civil protection order and a restraining order and a domestic violence restraining order out of municipal court? And they're all three different vehicles that people interchangeably use the words, and there's significant differences between them that would be a good thing to talk to when we tour the police station, to have them sort of communicate the differences and how they enforce them differently.
Because Patrick, even when he responded, that was one of the things that he had said was, hey, it's our statute and there's certain, things that we as a Troy, the city of Troy can and cannot do because of our laws. And I think if we inform those individuals of those statutes or something,
Yeah.
so they can be aware of where to find them. We don't have to give it to them, but at least tell them where to go to find it.
Mhm.
Then they can follow their own.
Yeah.
We're not trying to sway them in one way or another. We're just
Right.
like, giving it's what we
Yeah,
are, information. We are the information hub.
Yeah, right.
So,
And that's exactly right. That's where we should be.
All right. So the
Awesome.
local election process, Todd and Kane, have you guys got to touch base?
I'm trying to do that right now.
We haven't, but I will say that I have, I made some phone calls since our last meeting. I called the Dayton, or Montgomery County Board of Elections and asked them about, Spanish forms, voter forms, registration forms, and like that. They did not have any, but they said they have access to, the information just in case. They said, but if you wanted the paperwork yourself to give to the Miami County, they said you can call the Secretary of State's office. So I made a call to the Secretary of State office, and they provided me with a Spanish voter registration form that I do have access to, and maybe that's something as a commission or committee we can send to the Board of Elections so that they have that on file and access. Just if anyone comes in and wants the voter registration form.
So are you telling me that our board of registration, our board of
I'm
what I was about
sorry.
to say.
Yes, I do.
Are you telling me that our board of elections do not have a Spanish speaking ballot or whatever that is?
So, so some of the voting machines in bigger cities like Dayton, they have interchangeable language. And, once again, I think it should be stated, English is not the primary language of America. There is no solidified language. It might be on different state levels that have voted on, but based on the United States as a whole, it is not federally constitutional to force anyone to learn or speak English. So our board of elections does not have Spanish voter forms, and that's something that we talked about when they came in.
Yeah, he said that if they needed it, though, he could do that process.
Yeah,
He
and then
could
that
talk
we could
about it.
share that with them so that they would have it on file.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that way he doesn't have to wait until he needs it. He has
But we
access.
the flip side of that is that's just voter registration. We still don't have access to vote ballots that are in a different language. So that's another barrier that we have to get over. And it is a barrier, like I would say language barrier, especially reading.
Do we track how many languages that are spoken here in the city of Troy?
I wouldn't
I
know
don't
how or
think so. How do you do that? Yeah.
the process. The school
Oh.
might, because the school would be
Um,
more.
A Google Map tree. Right. A GDF. Right. With the
Oh, that's not my husband.
He's
She said,
Not sure what's going on there.
it says Richard's iPad.
you know, Zoom is famous for people sometimes
Crossing over.
Yeah.
No, he was unmuted. I muted him, sorry.
Oh, okay.
That was your husband. I was like, what
Huh.
Well, that's not his kind of music at all. That'd be more like
That was
me.
music. I thought he was speaking.
I thought it was a commercial or something.
Now, that might have been.
Is Dave, who's chairman of the board of elections now? Is it Dave Fisher?
I think I heard that.
I don't remember, but I know Ian gave me his card.
I think it is Dave.
That's the only person I know.
I think Rob Long's still on it. I just reached out to Rob, and then we can check with Dave Fisher. And I go over there all the time. I just got to remember to do it.
I think it would be great to work in some way to have, at least a system as if someone that is a citizen of the United States wants to have it in a different language, that we would be equipped to do that, the contact to do that.
Please don't worry about Georgia. I won't bother you for just.
Are you the only Georgian here in Troy?
I won't bother you for 1 hour.
Until she said until she has a child. So
Yeah. She has two
It's a
children.
Language
There
you're
was-
worried about.
When Ian came and talked, there were lots of, whether we were going to, Bill Lutz, if you guys ever follow Bill Lutz, there's no voting location that you can walk to,
yeah,
is what he just posted a couple weeks ago. So
yeah,
I know,
because they moved
They
the
changed.
one.
Ours changed.
I also made a call to the.
It's
See where it changed to?
So that was another thing I guess I should share. So I made a call also to the state level just to get clarification on some of the laws. And there is no law, and I had read it through myself, but I don't know if there was more to something that I didn't see there that was on the Ohio laws. That there is no laws on polling places being positioned in a certain distance. So I played a theoretical game with the state official that I talked to, and they said, I asked them that if the Board of Elections were to put precinct 2C Troy in Piqua, could they legally do it? Of course they could be sued and whatever to be, but there's several levels that they have to do to okay things. As long as it met the law requirements, which is safety, handicap accessible, bathrooms and all that stuff, certain width of the wall, door openings, and certain things like that they have to follow. And he said theoretically, yes, they could. So there is no law that says it has to be at least, it can't be 4 miles away from the nearest point of the precinct. You know what I mean? There's no law that limits them. It just has to be within their county.
And who selects where it's located?
The Board of Elections, they vote on it. Each county votes
The
on
county
it.
does?
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And
they
the-
draw the lines and they
Yeah.
vote and approve it of where precincts are. And
Well, the city does that. The city defines the precincts.
They
but
decide- yeah.
Yeah, but the Board of Elections is responsible for the locations. And what's happening fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of locations aren't as receptive as they used to be. I mean, I remember I used to vote at the junior high. You can't vote at the junior high anymore because, they just don't want, I mean, it's just a changed world. They don't want people walking in and out and opening the doors of the junior high on a routine basis. So, I think we were at Grace Baptist Church for a while. We were at the Y. I've been at the YMCA before. I've been at,
They want to be.
now I'm at Troy Baptist, I think. So
They do.
they're
I don't
just
know.
really trying to find locations, and I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
know,
that was the issue when I after I spoke with at the state level, I called back to the county level, and they had said that it comes down to them finding a location. They said Hobart, where they were, the Hobart
government center.
Go on,
Yeah,
was it
it's a
lot.
Plum? No, it's off of Plum.
right down here.
Is
Yeah,
the conversation worth like going back to Richard's Chapel or talking to Kemma? Is it capacity? Was it finding?
Look, I
It
mean,
was there for
we can
years.
we can talk, but that's a board of
Yeah.
election. I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
yeah. I mean, from what they said is as of now, the polling location for precinct 2C is at Riverside, which in my
A lot of
opinion
people can't get
is
there.
a distance issue.
Yeah, they won't.
I mean,
bother
we
to
could
go.
provide, we as individuals possibly could go and ask businesses, would they be willing to talk to the Board of Elections in opening up their business or church
Yeah.
for voting?
And
I think that that's what we
The
were finding out.
relationship with MLK
Me-
team in the
Beg your
push for
pardon?
beloved community. I would think
I
that the
I was
church
just saying that, I think that that's what we're going to talk to the church officials about. So we're gonna try to involve them in this process so that we can have more opportunities for people to vote more efficiently in the city.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna
that,
add
it
that under
easier.
that initiative.
Yeah.
but to the other side of that
It's already there.
is a lot of smaller populated counties that are even smaller than Miami County, their issues that they have is they will combine several precincts to be voting in one location because of issues with getting people to work
Yeah.
at polling locations.
Right.
So that's another side of it.
here's what I think we should do with this. This is just an idea, so you guys can shoot it down, but we're not going to get anything done before May 4th because April 15th is our next
Right.
meeting, and May 4th is the next election. So I think we can go talk and see what we can do to, we want to put something on our website, encourage people. I mean, we did find out a lot of misinformation was being disseminated about who could vote and what the criteria were. And I think as an HRC, we could certainly try to divest that misinformation from being out there. But then I think what we should do is invite either David Fisher or Ian or Rob Long or whoever the other member of the council that is, or all four of them, or the director or the deputy director. But that was really like our first or second meeting, and I think we were still kind of getting our legs kind of solid. And I think it would be good to have them come back in, May, June, something like that. And really, that's one area that I think the HRC can really be of value because we're not really advocacy as much as we are, eh, letting people know what's out there, disseminating information, doing that stuff. And maybe it is going to be, I don't know what the rules are going to be if they're going to let. I mean, there's a mailbox out there now in the courthouse plaza. And, I mean, in my 30 years of going up and down that plaza, I've never seen it before. So if we can expand that, if we can make, I don't think anybody wants to disenfranchise anybody. So I think the more votes you can get, the better we can do. And if HRC can help do that, I think we should do it. I just don't know that you're going to get anything done by May 4th other than, hey, we encourage you to vote. Here's the rules. Yeah. Could you hear that, Mark? Holy cow.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna go on to. Do you have any updates for the Festival of Nations?
No, they haven't called a meeting yet, so
Okay.
I don't have any on that.
All right, so then we'll move on to, again, I think the play, although it's tabled, that conversation can come up tomorrow night with Patrick. Recommendation for concerts, that's already done, but do we want to talk about how we want to help market that?
Yeah, we'll have, it's August 5th?
So,
August 7th.
Yep. August 7th. So we just need to kind of be consistent on getting the word out. And then we have not cookout event. So in talking about that event at our last meeting, we decided that we would like to make that a Juneteenth event. And we want that event to be really, really amazing. And so we're looking at a bigger event, 2022, but we still want to do something 2021. And Todd had mentioned collaborating with TFC and Richard's Chapel, which would be the MLK team, and whoever else in the community that would want to collaborate, LCC.
I think maybe we should involve Hobart. I think they may be willing. to-
Good idea,
The
Marvin.
Heart team, yes, definitely.
yeah.
He mentioned Kenny Block, who's kind of our ad hoc, that would be willing to barbecue.
I
That's pretty cool.
don't say that I submitted him to him. He just told me one time that he'd love to have a big cookout
We
sometime.
can call him
so-
on that. So I'm excited. Again,
Kenny's gonna show up at my
TFC
door and say,
had
"What
it-
did you want?"
right? They had intentions. Troy Freedom Chasers had wanted to do a cookout prior, but COVID had hit. So I think it's perfect to collaborate with our community on that. So I'd like to get started on collaborating with that. I think that's awesome. So I will we can call out a meeting with MLK and TFC and some HRC members.
I
And
think that'd be
just
great. A little
I'm on it. I'm on it
Festival.
tomorrow morning.
Juneteenth
Yeah.
committee.
And so again, we talk about funding. Todd, can I say you mentioned Rotary would possibly be open to funding?
Rotary?
Can I say that? Or you said
Dude,
I
I don't
thought
know.
you said something. I'm sorry. Maybe it wasn't
We
Rotary.
can see if we can find see what we have, and we'll see what sources we have.
So we're gonna seek
When
funding.
did you wanna send that email out?
I would like to, yeah. I'm gonna send it out tonight. Do we have good dates that I can glean from you guys so we can for a potential meeting or a date to
Oh, I
stay
was gonna
away
say.
from?
I thought you set the date.
Well, that's
I'm kidding.
oh, Juneteenth.
That's for the actual.
Oh my God, he's so witty. I wasn't even thinking about that. I totally
That's
wasn't
for
thinking about
the event.
it. He's like, you said.
I don't know. I would email. You can do like there's like a vote thing where you can like put a couple dates up and people can like vote on which days
Perfect.
are
So
best.
I'll get on it in the morning, no problem. And then again, remind everybody that the historical meeting will be at Partners in Hope or via Marvin has a link at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. I lost my place. 1 second. So we'll start on that. And Todd, if you could maybe work on seeing if we could have a proclamation for that event, I think that would be awesome.
For the Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just kind of make it official, and then it kind of sets that precedent for next year as we have a bigger and better. So if we start at Richard's Chapel, I mean, again, maybe our hopes is that we get to the city park and we have a huge event. I envision like family T-shirts, like getting
Oh my
down,
God,
like
that's
literally, like
something
it could
my
be
family
what.
did.
Whatever.
Why can't we have it right across the street from Lincoln Center?
Across,
I mean, from Richard's Chapel.
I think that's where we would
That's
consider
what we
now.
talked about. The park.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's in the community.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm cool. with
Yeah,
that.
it's like, well, it's not really. a
That's
community
actually-
park, but
You walking distance.
Yeah,
for-
racing
Exactly.
cake, and it's
Exactly.
big enough that we can have like
Everything.
booths, tents, and
huge,
yeah.
Yeah, and there's even a shelter there.
It needs to be utilized.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So we're still talking about 2021, correct, this summer?
Yes, we're talking about this summer.
So based on my experiences with events last
Mhm.
summer, you would need to work with health department, so.
Yeah. Oh, I've done
So invite
things
someone
like
from the
that.
health
So yeah,
department.
we have to get with the
Yeah,
health
invite the
department.
Feed them, they'll be all right.
Right.
We have to get with the health
With them, they
department,
need to
and
give you guidelines.
we also
Yeah.
need to get with the
Food
parks
prep.
department,
Yeah, the
right,
parks
to
is-
see if we can utilize the park. Correct.
Yes.
That's recreation.
Who do I
department,
reach
right?
out to ask
So
that?
which location are you talking?
Racing Park or
Or
Racing
McKay.
McKay
You
Park.
should be able to go online to
Huh?
the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Parks
recreation
Board.
department.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually you can go, cause, well, I know, like, when I made reservations at the park or whatever, I just go online.
Yeah, they have a
That's for shelters, but I don't think the Cape
Not
Cod
for-
has
no.
I
shelters.
try not to
Oh.
brag, but I do have
You
one
do
of the
reserve
best
shelters
national
through
night
recreation
outs.
department, but anything that is
amazing.
happening on a park,
As a whole.
Yeah.
on the park
And
ground, it has to be approved by park.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So our intentions are to be at the park, but if anything doesn't fly or whatever, we could resort to Richard's Chapel right across the street if we can't get the park. But I agree, the park makes the most
Yeah.
sense.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'll get on that tomorrow, and I would just put everybody on those emails.
It can
'cause
be
we'll do
the,
that together.
Fallback for bad weather as well.
Definitely. Okay, so now we're moving on to church leadership. I have the emails and the physical addresses already sent to Salome. Where are you at in your draft, you and John, Marvin?
Well, we did 2 drafts, and then John came up with a softer draft. I'd be happy to read it to you, or I can send it out to everybody. Let's see.
You can send it out.
Okay.
Are we gonna approve that draft at the next meeting?
Is it ready to be approved for the 15th?
No,
Or
it,
do
it's actually a whip. It's a work in process. So I'll send it out to you guys. You can take a look if you want to make any modifications or anything like that. You can red pen it and just send it back.
Could he just send it out to Salome by April 7th and then have that sent out on April 8th with our,
It'd be another goal that we could approve that and get that mailed out
Well,
by our
He's
HRC
saying
meeting
that
if
it's a work in
possible.
process.
No, I think it's about ready now. We just need to edit it a little bit and then it'll be finished. So
So
it could be
you email
done
it to
tomorrow.
me- If you
Okay.
email it to me, I will email it to all HRC members, and then you can submit your suggestions, and then I can do the edits, and then I will send you the final version before April 1st. That would be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that works.
And then we could, you could tell me that if you don't have any more suggestions, then I'll include that letter in the packet.
Okay, sounds great.
We definitely want them to be at the event too. Okay, so now history preservation, we kind of have hit that redundantly. Meetings tomorrow at 6. Is there anything that anyone needs to report or clarify from those minutes? All right. And then HRC presence on the Troy City website and social media. Marvin, is there anything?
Yes. We need everyone to have their headshots taken.
Oh, they're still not done.
And she just pointed to you too.
Can we, is it okay if we
I
see
really
our
don't wanna do
headshot?
Yes.
And just in case, because I have a couple, they were struggling with the glare on my glasses, so I do have a couple professional ones if she didn't like the headshot. I'm just curious to see it. It's a
Oh, we have
girl.
nothing to do with professional.
We can send professional ones?
No, we can't, but I'm just saying, like,
Oh.
she struggled with the glare on my glasses, so I just wanted to
Oh.
provide a backup if.
You can pay the extra 30 for the non-glare glasses, because I did. Did they offer it to you?
Care source, baby, I get none of those offers.
No, I didn't.
None.
Oh, I did, we just put it on.
And-
I'll pay for it.
So I guess if we could get everybody's photo updated, I have a stock photo that I'll use. So I'm good.
I think they want us, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
All
cut
have
you
the
off,
same-
Marvin.
No,
They
that's
want us all to have the same look
Background.
and background, so.
Oh, okay, is there like an
upstairs,
American flag back?
hallway. No, it's actually a white background, it's close to
Is
the
it different than
elevator.
council? Do I gotta go get one?
I have one with the American flag,
It's the
actually.
same as
Cool.
white background, so-
What's council?
Yeah,
I
so
thought
I
ours was
think they want us to at least
Oh.
attempt to have similar photos,
Okay.
right?
I can do that.
Right?
I don't care.
Okay.
So just 2 of us need 3. Did
Mr. Keller,
Ruby
David.
have an opportunity to get? Okay. so-
I asked her and she said she doesn't want to do it for now because she was still new and she has not attended meetings. So I'll ask her again.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
perfect.
We want her to.
Tell her she's in the crew.
She's in the
She's
crew
got to
now.
roll
She
with
has to get
us.
a picture taken.
Yeah.
She ain't got no choice.
Okay, so we got that, and then
She'll
this
learn it.
received approved.
Mhm.
Yep, and then we have our things. Have you guys all had a chance to like put up flyers or any of the marking material? Whether it's at your organizations or, I'm just curious. That was the last one.
Oh, the large posters.
Yeah.
I thought, did you?
I'm just saying, like, for me, I put it in my organization, but if you
I don't
knew,
have.
I don't have any.
I mean, I have the draft one that's hanging up in my bedroom.
Um,
can we sign it for you?
I'm like,
I,
oh.
I have a suggestion. I was thinking that we should maybe draft up a little email and send it to everyone who has come to the HRC to present because they have a vested interest. And that we may be able to post these posters and flyers at their offices or within the buildings that they manage. And then the
Can you
next,
send to all the church with the
Maybe that could be part of their letters or something.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't think I can fold that.
She's funny. Kane asked if perhaps the churches would want them. And so Salome was just saying, you know, she technically can't fold the long flyers and mail them, but maybe that could be part of the draft that, you know, some of the ways you could help, or when they come, we could say, we could definitively have some action plans. So, you know, they could mark it or they could
Right.
participate.
So I
support.
think I should give you an update about the posters. I mentioned several times locations where those are already up. Like
Yeah.
one is senior center. If you look at the board, you'll see your poster there.
Yeah.
2 libraries,
Mhm.
Gaynor Cultural Center, schools. And actually, Mr. Fong told me how the flyer and poster are distributed. He said, in addition to a permanent place on the school website, they're also emailed to every family in the district twice per month,
Oh, that's
along with
Wow.
other community flyers and
Oh,
demand
cool.
notices.
That's
So
amazing.
that's for schools. And also, I took it to Rec Center. So Rec Center has and other like churches. I don't know how you want to, but also it will be a good opportunity. Maybe you want to go and
yeah.
distribute. So it will be a chance for you to communicate
Yeah.
with people in the community instead of me doing it. I don't know if HRC.
That's why I
members
kind of
want to do
asked
it.
that. Like, are we
Yes.
being
I think
active
it will
in
be a
that?
good.
Can we come and
yes.
get them?
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do that when I get my headshot.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
You got your hair cut.
I
just
love
for
your
hair
haircut.
I gave one to
Yeah.
Sonia, so she
Yeah.
took it to.
partners
And I
in help.
haven't given one to Lincoln Community Center because I was waiting on the flyers. And once I get the flyers, also, then I told Shane Carter that I will deliver poster and flyers both together
Nice.
to Lincoln Community Center.
Is there one at the police station?
I'd like to see their picture.
Mhm.
Is there one at the police station?
That
would
Mm,
make
mm.
I
sense.
think we propose.
I think that would make sense.
I can ask, but I don't think we put posters like that.
Okay, got you.
I don't even know if they post.
No,
I don't think so.
Oh, well,
And Miss Keller also has several posters. I asked
Yeah.
her to deliver to the businesses
gotcha.
and kiosks. Your posters are posted on the kiosks.
We're about done. I'm about to
I'll go
get
by
meeting
next
next date. Do you have any input on the next meeting date since we're combined? Because that's, unless somebody has something to add, that was
Yeah,
it.
I just have one other thing to add.
Yeah,
I think, you know, in terms of doing our social media calendar, I like us to start sending out some things based on the initiatives that we cover. So just a real quick blurb, and I can put that together, or if anyone would like to jump in there, but just like a little small paragraph about what we're doing at the HRC so that we can start to get the data out to people that may follow this City of Troy on Instagram and also on Facebook.
Yeah, talk to Lauren about that, but you'll have to run it through them because she'll have to be the communications person for the HRC. But yeah, that's I don't think she would have any objection to that, Marvin. And then we need to, you know, I mean, you got to keep remembering there's two different roles of this, right? We are actually a functioning commission of the city, so she would have to be the one to reach out and do that. But
Yeah, we met with
no,
her.
I think she would be glad to help you. And I would tell you, I spoke with the Troy Daily News reporter today, and I think she is going to reach out to you and probably to Lauren and some people, because I think they're going to do an updated story based upon the posters being up, and it's now been whatever it's been, almost a year since they started. So Melanie Yingst reached out to me today. So I do think we're going to get some more awareness in the next 30 days.
And I don't know if you've seen posts, but Lauren posted news release on social media and poster also. So.
Thanks.
That's awesome. Is there anything else to add in regards to community? Okay, next meeting time is where we're at now.
The week of the 19th, right?
Yeah, the 15th is our meeting, right?
Yes.
I'm good with April 22nd, I think.
22nd.
Mhm.
I'm good with that day. Was there somebody trying to stay away from the 22nd on a Thursday?
I've got a,
Thursdays.
I can go. I may be a little, I've got a 4:30, but I may be a little late. but
Actually,
that's fine.
I will have started classes then, so if we could shy away from a Thursday, that would be amazing.
Yeah, and also, I just remembered I can't do the
You
22nd
started it.
because that's Earth Day. And, yeah,
Earth Day. Ooh.
Earth Day,
You
yeah.
don't plant trees?
That is so
I'm planning something.
millennial of you.
And I'd
That's
love to see
cute.
all of you there on April 22nd.
Troy Community Works, they often do make a difference day type things.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That might be
That's-
So
that's what I
21st?
21st works for me.
21st works for me as well.
I'm checking. Give me 1 second.
It's Professionals Day. Is that gonna be a?
It's it's Administrative
Oh, you
Professionals
like
Day.
that. It's a good day off.
Huh?
You should have a day off.
Make sure you give something nice for Abby.
So 6 p.m. on April 21st. We can label the meeting Salome's day off.
It is not really my day. Making it isn't my day. I think Mr. Major was checking his calendar, so if we wait on his response.
Thank you.
Y'all hear me?
We all heard you.
You didn't hear me.
No.
Mr. Major will be there.
Be there, be
Like,
square.
Stop it, Sheree.
I'm so excited about a cookout. Oh my gosh.
Trying to get it up.
No, you missed Major.
Okay, we good?
Waiting on our illustrious.
Sorry. Give me 1 second.
Come on, Prez.
Come on, Fred.
That's
Yeah,
cute.
Mr. Back.
Oh yeah, John said it's
All right,
okay.
April 21st. Is that the day? It's
So Wednesday.
Wednesday. I look good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
No baseball games.
All right, well,
That's right.
to adjourn the meeting, if no one has anything else, enjoy the
I'll second.
rest of the sunshine.
Second, third, fourth,
See
fifth,
y'all
sixth,
later.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I think my meeting was